You keep giving all your work to future you. But that person already has a very busy schedule. In fact, up to 95% of humanity procrastinates, with a massive 20% doing it chronically, according to research by Dr. Piers Steel. You probably have enormous dreams of building a wildly successful business, getting perfectly fit, and waking up at 5 in the morning for absolutely no reason. Yet here you are, at 2 in the afternoon, watching another productivity video and putting off a tiny email that has been waiting for 3 days. Hey friends, welcome back. Hazel here. So what is actually wrong with you? Are you genuinely just lazy, or is something much stranger happening inside your brain right now? Today, we are exploring the bizarre psychology of people who are fiercely ambitious, but somehow rarely take any real action. Because sometimes, laziness is not the absence of ambition at all. It is ambition hiding from reality. Let us find out who is really controlling your choices. 1. The dreamer versus the protector. Inside your head right now, a brutal custody battle is happening over your future. And the two people fighting could not be more completely different. The first is the dreamer. The dreamer wants absolute success, total financial freedom, widespread recognition, and a gorgeous downtown apartment with unnecessarily large windows. Every Sunday night, usually around 11:30 when you should definitely be sleeping, the dreamer creates an aggressive, highly detailed new life plan. Tomorrow, everything changes. You will wake up at 5 in the morning. You will exercise intensely at 6. You will start building your empire at 7. You will become a self-made millionaire sometime before a late lunch. But living right next door in your brain is the second person. The protector. The protector has a much simpler, far less exhausting plan for your life. Stay perfectly comfortable, conserve your energy, and whatever you do, do not embarrass yourself in front of other human beings. Whenever the dreamer creates a massive, life-changing goal, the protector immediately steps in and begins aggressively asking highly uncomfortable questions. What if you try your absolute hardest and still fail? What if your friends laugh at you? What if your revolutionary business idea is actually terrible? What if you finally pursue your passion and discover that your hidden talent has remained hidden for a very good reason? The bigger your dream is, the more dangerous the answers to those questions become. That is exactly why fiercely ambitious people sometimes procrastinate way more than people with perfectly average, smaller goals. When you aim for the stars, failing feels like falling from orbit. Suddenly, opening a blank document on your laptop is no longer just opening a document. It instantly becomes a massive, terrifying test of whether you are actually a talented writer. Uploading your very first video is no longer just a fun, harmless experiment. It feels like you are allowing the entire internet to publicly vote on your fundamental human potential. And the internet has never exactly been famous for its kindness or understanding. So, the protector offers a brilliant, highly logical solution to keep you completely safe from all this psychological terror. Do absolutely nothing. Just wait. As long as you never seriously try, you can permanently continue believing that you totally would have succeeded. Your boundless potential remains completely undefeated, simply because it never actually entered the competition. Many ambitious procrastinators love to dress this avoidance up in fancy clothes to make it acceptable. They confidently call themselves perfectionists. They say things like, I am just not ready yet, or I need a significantly better strategy before I launch, or I really want my very first attempt to be extremely high quality. This sounds incredibly professional and disciplined. But in reality, perfectionism is usually just fear wearing a nice suit and holding a clipboard. In fact, this fear of not being flawless is growing. According to a 2018 study by Curran and Hill, perfectionism has increased significantly over the last 30 years among young adults. We are absolutely terrified of being seen as anything less than perfect. If your very first attempt must be absolutely excellent, you cleverly ensure that you never actually have to begin. Because here is the brutal, undeniable truth. Beginners produce beginner-quality work. That is the universal arrangement of learning anything new. Your first video will probably be incredibly awkward to watch. Your first business idea might crash and burn spectacularly. Your first serious workout may consist primarily of you discovering that a small flight of stairs has somehow become your greatest natural enemy. But the perfectionist does not see a messy, imperfect first attempt as a normal, mandatory part of the learning process. They see it as undeniable, devastating evidence that they are simply not talented enough. So they stay firmly planted in preparation mode, because preparation is safe. You might spend weeks researching the perfect camera or the ultimate software without ever hitting record. Interestingly, a 2014 study in the Journal of Consumer Research showed that merely planning a goal can trick the brain into feeling a false sense of accomplishment, significantly reducing your actual effort. The dreamer loves planning because it feels like progress, and the protector loves planning because it involves absolutely zero risk. In preparation, the imaginary project is still completely flawless. The theoretical business is wildly successful and highly profitable. The unwritten book is a brilliant, award-winning masterpiece. The imaginary audience completely loves the video that does not actually exist yet. Reality has not had a single opportunity to step in and ruin anything. And keeping everything in the planning phase has a heavy psychological cost. Have you ever noticed how your unfinished goals constantly haunt you while you are trying to relax? The Zeigarnik effect in psychology states that people remember uncompleted tasks much better than completed ones, which creates a constant, draining mental tension. Your protector stops you from starting, but your brain refuses to let you forget what you were supposed to be doing. You are perfectly trapped between a massive ambition you cannot let go of and a fear of failure you cannot push past. But the devastating cost of protecting this beautiful, perfectly safe fantasy is that it never, ever becomes real. The first version of anything is not supposed to dramatically prove that you are uniquely gifted to the world. It is simply supposed to give you something, anything, bad enough that you can actually start improving it. And until you accept that your first attempt will be flawed, your ambition will remain trapped in a permanent waiting room. 2. Escaping the emotion. Imagine you finally sit down to work. You open your laptop, the blank page stares back, and your brain instantly whispers, "Before we start, perhaps we should quickly check social media." 47 minutes later, you are deeply invested in a video of a guy restoring an antique carpet in another country. How did you get here? The answer is emotional relief. Procrastination is not a time management problem at all. A fascinating study by Dr. Fuschia Sirois proved that procrastination is essentially an issue with emotion regulation. When a project makes you feel confused, inadequate, or terrified, your phone acts as an instant painkiller. You did not actually avoid the task itself. You aggressively escape the negative emotion created by the task. Your brain quickly learns a highly addictive pattern. Work feels deeply uncomfortable. Scrolling makes the discomfort instantly vanish. Therefore, scrolling literally saved your life. Of course, the task is still waiting for you, but now it is joined by intense guilt and a significantly shorter deadline. When you finally return, the project feels even worse, so you escape again. But ambitious people have an even stealthier escape route. Productive procrastination. Instead of watching meaningless videos, you watch 500 tutorials on building a business without ever actually speaking to a single customer. You buy 20 books on investing, but never actually invest a single dime. Self-improvement content makes you feel successfully disciplined for a few minutes. But eventually, learning becomes incredibly dangerous when it completely replaces testing. At some point, watching another tutorial provides far less value than 10 uncomfortable minutes of actual, messy work. You do not need another person to explain how to start. You simply need to survive the deeply uncomfortable emotional experience of actually being a beginner. 3. The Future You Delusion. Right now, you are probably exhausted. But the version of you waking up tomorrow morning? That person is apparently an unstoppable, relentless machine. Tomorrow, future you is going to exercise for an hour, work 8 highly focused hours, cook a perfectly healthy organic meal, deep clean the entire apartment, and naturally, learn Spanish. You have essentially assigned an enormous, impossible amount of unpaid labor to this imaginary person. And somehow, in your head, they never complain. The reason tomorrow feels so incredibly easy is simple. You literally cannot feel tomorrow's physical discomfort today. This biological glitch allows you to vividly imagine the massive reward without actually experiencing any of the painful work. That makes extreme planning extremely satisfying. Creating a stunning, color-coded schedule or watching 14 straight videos about discipline feels exactly like real progress. But eventually, this extreme planning simply becomes a luxury waiting room where your actual goals slowly die. This delusion is exactly why ambitious people love the Monday transformation fantasy. After wasting an entire week, you completely redesign your life. Monday will be different. You will wake up at 5, run 10 miles, meditate, and effortlessly launch a company before breakfast. But when the alarm actually rings on Monday, that cinematic revolution is immediately rescheduled for Tuesday. Extreme plans always fail because they require a massive level of discipline that you simply have not built yet. 4. The 10-minute rule. You cannot rely on sheer willpower when your phone is sitting right next to you, glowing like a tiny casino. Every single notification offers an immediate reward, while your actual work offers uncertainty and effort. That is not a fair fight. To win, you have to make distraction difficult. Put the phone in another room. Close those 27 browser tabs you are emotionally attached to. Define the next action so specifically that your brain has nothing left to debate. Saying work on my business is a massive trap. Write down 10 customer problems is an actual action. When you give your brain a vague instruction, it will always choose the path of least resistance. You also need to stop treating every single attempt like a final exam on your self-worth. If a project fails, it does not mean you lack talent or intelligence. It is just data. Think like a scientist running an experiment, not a defendant on trial. Collect clarity by doing things badly and paying attention. Change one variable and try again. And when you inevitably mess up, do not let one bad day turn into a massive, multi-season documentary of failure. Missing one workout does not mean your entire health journey has permanently collapsed. In fact, research by Dr. Kristin Neff shows that self-compassion is significantly more effective than self-criticism when it comes to reducing future procrastination. Shame just makes you want to escape more. So, how do we finally beat the protector? Use the 10-minute rule. Pick one deeply specific action, remove the friction, and commit to doing it for just 10 short minutes. Give yourself full, absolute permission to quit the moment the timer stops. You are not tricking yourself into working forever. You are simply teaching your brain that you can easily survive the discomfort of starting. Often, 10 minutes naturally turns into 30 because the resistance disappears once you are in motion. You are not lazy. You are just terrified of what happens when your massive dreams are finally tested by reality. So please, stop giving all the heavy lifting to future you. That imaginary person already has a completely booked schedule. Your dreams do not need another dramatic promise. They just need tiny pieces of evidence. Right after this video ends, do not plan. Do not watch another tutorial. Just take 10 minutes and open the file. And if this helped you finally stop procrastinating, gently tap that like and subscribe button for more psychology secrets.